as always, with my faithful. I feel like I'm the co-host and you're the host. As always, with my faithful
Co-host?
host, Alex. Alex, how are you
No,
today?
that's not what a co-host is. Before I'm anything, I want to establish that co-host is like you're a partner. So I'm a co-host and you're a
Yeah, but
co-host.
that's why I
There's
say I
not.
feel like I'm less of a partner because I do like no preparation or really any thought for
Dude,
any of this.
you run the live streams. That's
I
pretty
do
big.
run the live streams, and I've grown a scraggly beard to reflect that. So
Maybe if I can go like a whole month without doxing us, I'll we can have another conversation about this. But until then,
yeah, you
I
shrink
I don't.
yourself back. So
Yeah, I don't think I'm the host. I think we're co-hosts.
I'll,
I don't like the way you.
I'm more of a sidekick. I'm more of a rat tat kind of
You're not a
guy.
sidekick. What are you talking about?
All right, regardless of our dynamic, welcome to our live stream. Thanks for joining us. If you joined us last week, you got a really exciting sneak peek into our personal information, full names,
You
social
did.
security numbers,
Yeah.
um,
Mother's maiden names.
mother's maiden names, streets that we grew up on, and first name of first pets. You got to look at all that. But this week we're gonna stick mainly to fan fiction because that's what we do here. We're the internet's number one fan fiction podcast where we
Yeah.
read and review and respond critically to fan fiction. Alex, how you doing today?
I'm doing well. I think as our live stream producer, it might behoove you to check the audio levels before we continue further.
Check audio levels. Why am I going too loud?
No, I can barely hear you.
You can barely hear me. All right, let me crank myself up
Yeah,
then.
I don't know if that'll be okay. Crank yourself
I'm
up. Let's
jacked
see how
up.
we do.
I'm jacked up. It's going to be a delay, but you'll catch it in a bit.
I'm all jacked up on Mountain Dew.
I'm going to come at you like a spider monkey. I'm coming up yellow. I'm coming up yellow. Let's see if that picks up
Let
any
me see.
better. I think I've capped myself.
No, jack yourself up more.
Jack myself up more. I'm redlining. I am redlining. How does that sound?
Isn't that what is redlining? Isn't that like a political thing?
I always thought it was like when you're like revving the RPMs on your car. You're like redlining.
Oh, yeah, okay, that's true.
But
I've done
also
that
in
before.
audio, they have the green, yellow, and red. Redlining would just be like breaking someone's eardrums.
Yeah.
How do we sound?
I think we sound better
We
now.
sound
So I
better.
think we've fixed the
Okay.
problem.
Well, if you missed any of that, again, my name's Ryan. This is Alex. This is Suck My Fanfic, fan fiction. Du jour, du week, du
Yeah,
month, du
agreed.
every couple of years we hop on and record.
Oh, du jour is like every day,
That's
right?
why I upped the
Oh
do.
shit.
Yeah,
Okay.
I did.
Yeah, up the
I did the
dues.
do. Um,
I do the do.
so today we got an opening topic, and we're gonna go right into a fanfic that Alex has been boasting about all day, and he sent me a very cryptic photo that I'm just. He's like,
Good.
this is gonna give it away, and I have no idea what it's about or what's going on.
I thought it would give it away. I guess not.
I'm
Um,
very ignorant.
I don't think you're ignorant, but you just maybe I just run in worse circles than you do.
Darker circles.
I just darker corners of the internet.
Exactly. But for today, we're gonna hop into our opening topic. Our opening topic is going to be, and we haven't talked about this. I checked it with you because I didn't know on this podcast. We talked about Marvel's What Ifs, the
Yep.
upcoming Disney's Plus show, Marvel's What Ifs. Let me just pull ourselves up here.
Hold up, hold up. I'm posting that word. We're live streaming,
Great.
so
I just doxed our YouTube channel, so
you. Let me see if I can catch it on
I just pulled
the,
up
like.
what I pulled up what our theme song is. There's a lot of mystery about that.
That's okay. I think that'll be okay. Let me see. Here we go. Podcasting. There we go. That's it. We did all the hashtags. Hashtags are done. Good for us.
So this is Marvel Studios' What If,
Mm-hmm.
and I think we talked about what's the name of that fan fiction that became a movie after
After by Anna
after
Todd.
by Anna Todd. We talk about that, how it made a bunch of money, and then I think that makes a lot of that's a pretty strong argument for how popular fan fiction really is when you kind of strip
Yeah.
it from the taboo of being called fan fiction. But this is like a whole nother level. This is Marvel. This is MCU. This is Disney.
Yeah.
This is, and And this is fan fiction, essentially. And I'd like to get your take on it. We have the trailer. We're going to watch the trailer and do a hashtag live reacts. But I'd like to get your take on it real quick before we get it fired up. I have not seen the trailer. This is my first time watching it.
I think I saw a teaser. That's one of my like. Okay, first off, I have two gripes. Marvel releases like a teaser and then like a main one and then something else, and it's just like pick one. I'll be there for it. Like I'll watch it at least, but pick one. The other thing is, and this is just in general, and maybe I'm just an old man. What the fuck? We'll put the money on whether or not they do this. Have you noticed that with trailers from today, they'll do like a pre-trailer that's like up to 10 seconds, and it's like, the trailer for this is now live, and then they'll start the trailer, but they'll like show a piece of footage.
Yeah,
from
like a clip from later in the it's like a trailer to the it's like you think you gotta reel me in for this like minute 30
it's some
seconds?
social media bullshit, bro.
Yeah,
They have to, when you're scrolling like mindlessly on Twitter, they have to like let you know they're like, you about to see the trailer for Space Jam 2, and you're like, oh shit. Oh,
it's really it's literally just like that one scene from Cruella of Emma Stone getting out of the car, and then it cuts to, this is going to be Cruella, by the way. Let's rewind back to the beginning of the story.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And it's just like, oh, whatever. So I'm just griping. If it starts with this, fuck them. No, I think I've seen a teaser. I don't think I've seen the real thing.
So yeah, we got it up. Everyone who's listening to the podcast, sorry again. You got to get on those live streams. We stream very infrequently. We go based off of a sundial that is located near neither of us. We just have access to a monk who can only communicate to us via landline. He goes out, he tells us what time it is, we fire up the live stream.
It's the sundial at the Coral Castle in God, it's in Miami, but it's in a suburb of Miami. It's weird. I don't know if you've ever been.
I've never been.
It's a weird place.
Again, I know nothing about this sundial around which we base all of our streaming times, but so
it is our life.
I don't really blame you, but you should get on that. You should come in.
Yeah. So before we do that, I think we can ask two questions. Have you ever read a Marvel What If? I think that'd be the first one.
No. I read some of the DC, what are those called? Elseworlds?
Elseworlds.
Yeah. I have read those.
Elseworlds are super popular. And so you haven't read one. I was going to ask what your favorite one is then. Okay, so then the other question is, have you, I guess now that would spoil the trailer, because I know it's animated, and I think that's annoying.
Well, I mean, what are they going to get Benedict Cumberbatch to come in and just be like, what if your cape was blue? And he'll be like, hey, guys, I got stuff to do.
Yeah, that's what I'd prefer. Like, it just feels like a cop-out with it being animated.
Yeah.
No, it does. It's because now it's on the same level as the MODOK show, which looks like hot shit.
Dude, I honestly thought the MODOK show looked kind of funny. Not going to watch it at all. Not interested. No. But I think it does look
Patton Oswalt is not funny, A. And B, it just looks like hot fucking garbage. Like, if you want to, look, if anyone wants to watch it, I'm not shitting on you. I think it looks bad. I don't want to watch it. If you want to watch it, more power to you. But it's just like I don't know. It's like the care and attention that they put into WandaVision and they put into the other two live action shows. And then they were like teasing us at one of the Comic-Cons. They're like, WandaVision, Falcon Winter Soldier, Loki, and What If? And you're like, holy shit, they're gonna do a What If, and then it's animated.
Yeah, that was when that came out. Do you really quick have like a history of What Ifs, or like what their publishing history is, or anything like that?
So I own one, but it's buried. I've been like moving slowly my comic collection. So I really couldn't begin to tell you where it is. I think it's like, what if the Avengers got together in World War II or something like that? If it's not, it's like, what if the X-Men did? It's something weird like that. I know that they're a lot of people's favorites. I know that there's a lot of cool stories that come out of them, and I think the premise is pretty cool. Just like the Elseworlds idea for DC, I think the premise is like really neat. I mean, I can like quickly and half-ass like look up like a quick history of it.
No, it's okay. I was just curious because, I mean, it seems like maybe they were based off of write-in submissions. It was like, hey guys, I like Wolverine.
Oh,
but
yeah.
like, what if Wolverine was like had toe claws instead of hand claws? And they're like, God, that's so good. How are we gonna write that into the story? And they're like, let's just give it to the intern and make it like the one-off. So I don't know. You can look that up. I am gonna start it though. If you can see and hear, it might be a little hard for you to watch it as well and react.
Hey, we'll see. Have you? Oh, you know what? I probably won't hear it, so I'm gonna listen to the delayed live stream, and then I'll just like riff on it. Or if you want to react to it, tell me what happened, and I'll shit on it out of nowhere.
or you could also pull it up, and we could just say 1, 2, 3, play.
Oh, that's a good idea. But then we're both gonna have to like stop it at the same time. Yeah. But that's okay. That's okay. We can do it.
I have the master copy. I have this copy that's, as you've mentioned, I am master of the live stream. So.
So hang on. What if
I've got it pulled
trailer?
up in theater mode for everybody who's ever had a teacher in high school. Pull up a YouTube video, and it's always
Uh,
inexplicably in theater mode. I put it in theater
why? That's so true.
mode.
Is it the one that's 2 minute and 20 seconds?
2 minute and yeah, 19 seconds from Disney's Plus.
Okay. Yeah. Oh no, mine's from
Oh
Marvel
no,
Entertainment.
mine's from Marvel Entertainment. Sorry. Yep.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Why
All
do you
right.
keep saying Disney's Plus?
Yeah,
Is this
because
a thing?
people I work with, they like, hey, did you get the Disney's Plus? And I was like, I'm pretty sure it's Disney Plus. And they're like, yeah, I'm all over Disney's Plus. So I always call it Disney's Plus.
That's what you get for being in Jay-Z. Okay. Okay. I guess tell me when, and we'll watch it at the same
All
time.
right, 3, 2, 1, play.
Yeah, peace. I love peace. I'd be out of a job with peace.
Yeah. You know it's not going to be like a solid. What?
I know Killmonger.
Do we know each other?
What the fuck? Where did that come from? How does that make any logical sense?
Time. Reality.
Okay.
What were you saying? It's like Doctor Strange.
I feel like it's Osimo from South Park. So it's like, what if like Doctor Strange was like also an Asgardian?
Oh, is that what's happening here?
I assume
This looks like the animation from the Telltale games. Did you ever play any of those?
yes, dude. It does. I played the Walking Dead one. Yeah,
Dude, you should play the Batman one. I know I recommended it.
I've heard it's good.
great.
Yeah.
Okay, so
They
he's
actually they did a comic based off of it.
I think it's actually you can get it on like a phone now. You can get like app based.
Yeah,
you don't have to
probably.
get cause, okay. All right, ready? We're gonna play again. 3,
Yeah.
2, 1. All right, he's an Asgardian.
It's changeable.
Oh, it's the Guardians of the Galaxy instead.
Where you want to be? That's the question, isn't it?
Oh, T'Challa is.
Universe is different. Each one.
Howard the Duck.
Slow down a little bit. There's a few people in the room that don't understand. Not me, I get it.
Yeah.
Very not.
Wait. Pause it.
Yeah.
All right, two things. A, I wonder if that's the actual actors or if they're doing like replacement ones. I don't know if you know, but like the best animated movie series that's coming out right now is Hotel Transylvania, and the fourth one I've never seen a single goddamn second of those movies. I just know that in the fourth one, Adam Sandler's character is voiced by someone totally different, but you couldn't actually tell.
Oh my God! Adam Sandler checked out of the Hotel Transylvania. I thought that was
Yeah.
his freaking franchise, bro.
But Selena Gomez and Andy Samberg are still in it, which is weird, and like all the other people. So that's A. B. God, fuck it. What was B? Because now I was just too annoyed at A. Yeah, fuck it. Whatever.
Okay, so I'm at the part. I have a question. What was so different about? They showed like a clip of the Hulk. What was so different about the Hulk?
I don't know. I mean, I'm sure it's gonna be like, what if like Tony Stark like made the Hulk serum himself? Like it's just gonna be like that, you know?
It's like,
I don't know.
Yeah. If the Hulk had like a faux Hulk. All right, let's skip
What?
going.
Wait, what second are you paused at?
113.
Okay, I'm only a second ahead of you. Okay, we're good.
Okay. It looks like Doctor Strange has seen better days.
Yeah,
All
whatever.
right. 3, 2, 1, start it.
The name's Captain Carter.
Scheisse!
Very
I
good.
am the Watcher.
Oh, I
I
remember.
observe all that transpires here.
Oh,
But I
the
do not,
zombies.
The zombies. That's so
will not
funny.
interfere. I guess I have to freestyle then.
Oh my gosh, is that Superman actor Michael B.
We have you outnumbered.
A Ravager never flies solo. I said never flies solo.
Is that some kind of catchphrase?
Oh, that's so funny.
They really
Had
made
me
Young
worried
OP
for a
in
second.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Journey to face the unknown and ponder the question.
All right, pause. Okay, that's all I need to see. That again, the animation looks bad, but also very expensive.
I remember. Okay, I remember what part B was. I was gonna say, do you think they're trying to copy the Spider-Verse animation?
That's a good point.
Like it kind of looks like it's a wannabe Spider-Verse, like Into the
Yeah,
Spider-Verse.
and I feel like the Spider-Verse animation, so much care went into it, whereas you
Yeah,
might be able to cut some corners with just like some modeling, some 3D modeling. But
yeah,
yeah, it's a good point. That's a good point. They kind of did try to do that, but it didn't come through. I don't think the
yeah,
backgrounds are as like hand painted. They also look kind of just digitally put together, and it's crazy because I kind of was bashing. I was kind of bashing Invincible's animation on this podcast.
yeah.
I mean, a lot of people work really hard on it. It's just like not the style I like, and
No.
I think it's kind of dated. But I mean,
Well,
it is still takes a lot of time to do.
it's like I feel like they went halfway to anime, but then stopped. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, you're talking about Invincible.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
for sure.
watched the first episode finally.
Yeah, I think both of these are just a little too stiff for me.
Yeah,
Yeah, the
agreed. And
characters
I
are
just,
very stiff.
I don't like it. I'm very fickle when it comes to animation. The show I loved to watch when I was growing up was actually the Justice League show, the Batman the Animated Series, Superman the Animated Series. So I really love the Timverse, and maybe I was just like spoiled with like exceptionally good animation as a kid, because the Timverse is exceptionally good animation. But like I hate the fucking idea of Disney changing their house style. You know what I mean? Like that just really bothered me.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so just like seeing this and seeing what I think is just like a ripoff of Spider-Verse, it's just I don't believe that they did this with love. I feel like they just got an animation team and said, "Hey, we're like, I'm gonna sound like a fucking hippie. We're a big corporation. We're trying to pump this shit out to these people who are just stupid and are gonna watch it no matter what." I'm not saying everyone who watches is stupid. I'm saying that's what a corporation would say. And yeah, just fucking make it. You know what I mean? Like I don't feel like there was love in what I saw. Not that I mean it's a trailer, so maybe you shouldn't. But I don't know, the Spider-Verse trailer, when you watched it the first time, like
Yeah, you get pretty hyped. You know, there's a
You
lot
get pretty hyped.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like a lot of homages to the comics and a lot of. So
Yeah.
I have pulled up on the screen here the voices that are in it, and yeah, I mean the voice cast it's got Robert Downey Jr. It's got Sebastian Stan, Tom Hiddleston, Chadwick Boseman actually,
okay.
Paul Rudd, Brie Larson. Yeah.
Haley Atwell, Peggy Carter. Okay, I guess they are using the real voices, so that's fine, I
Yeah,
guess.
there's Chris Hemsworth. I mean, yeah.
I just the Thor one just didn't sound real.
That did sound. I mean, there's like 900 Hemsworths running around, so all you gotta do is grab one of them
true.
off the street, and
That's true. Yeah.
and you're good.
Yeah. I guess whatever. I mean, I don't know if I'll watch it. Maybe
That
there's one that's, like,
was Toby
exceptionally
Jones
good.
saying Shiza. I know you would have been able to see if it wasn't the
I would have known.
actor of Zola, the famous actor. They could have definitely skimped on that one. Just gotten
Yeah.
a random person.
So this is kind of my take on it right now, and this is probably the issue with it, is that it's an anthology series, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like every single episode is just going to be, what if, whatever, right?
Well, that's in the spirit of the comic, right? In the
And
original, what they're basing it on.
That's totally fine. Like I'm not knocking it. That is the spirit of the comic. It's the same thing with Elseworlds. But the issue is, it's like, I'm gonna be waiting to hear from other people on which ones are good, and then I'll watch the good ones. Like I'm not gonna watch all of them. There's no way. So I just like, I wonder which ones are actually gonna be. You know what I'm saying? You get what I'm you picking up what I'm putting down?
Yeah. It's not like you're really dying to see this. You're kind of gonna just be a connoisseur. Like if it's worth watching, I'm gonna watch it. Yeah.
And it's like I don't have to watch them in order. So it's like, oh no, episode 4 is the best one. It's like, okay, I'll just watch episode 4. Like I don't
Right.
have to watch. Like, what if Captain Marvel was like actually Captain America? Like, okay, I don't have to watch that. Like.
I'm just pulling up real quick, just so we can go through a quick list of which ones are confirmed, what's been teased, of like plots for each episode. So I'm just gonna quickly run through them, and I just it just feels like I feel like, how about this? Let's go through it and decide, like, would this be a fan fiction that I would read? Like if I was on Archive of Our Own and I heard this, like, would I even care? Would it make it on the show? I guess.
So So my question is, are you going to be reading the ones that people think the show's going to be based off of?
I'm gonna read. So this rock solid article from Screen Rant is every What If episode Marvel has confirmed or teased.
Okay.
So that's what I'm gonna go off of.
So you're like, oh, if I was scrolling AO3 and it was like, I don't know, what if the Hulk was actually Red Hulk? And I'd be like, do I want to read that? Okay, I got you.
My computer's frozen solid right now, so we need a little filler
Wonderful.
while it catches up and starts thinking.
Well, here I'll read. I have the list pulled up of some of the original what ifs.
Okay.
And so this is like volume 1. So it's like the first ever.
Do you
what
have
ifs.
any more information on where it came from? Because, I mean,
1977 was the first one.
is it was it Elseworlds or What Ifs first?
77 is going to have to tell me that it is what ifs first. But I feel like Elseworlds were like really popular. I've getting into comics and everything. I never heard someone say like, "Oh my God, these Marvel what ifs, bro! You have to read them." But I
So
did
maybe
hear
they were
people
even
say
niche
that.
at the time.
Yeah, but I heard people say that about Elseworlds all the time, like specific Elseworlds. The earliest one, I'm looking at a list, they're not chronological. The earliest one I can find right now is from 93, which is like a whole, 12 years after? So they kind of like hopped on that late. But I guess you wouldn't want to try to, bite it immediately. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the 90s is when Elseworlds came out. But I think the what ifs are like kind of short, and the Elseworlds are like,
Little mini
full
series,
40-page series.
Oh wow, they're 40 pages. Okay.
Some of them are. It honestly all depends on what you get. Some of them are annuals. I have a couple original Elseworlds, and they're really good. Surprisingly, The Killing Joke was in Elseworlds originally.
Yeah, I know that that actually became canon. Okay, I finally got it up. I'm unfrozen, so we'll run through real quick.
Okay, yeah.
So the first one is, what if Peggy Carter? I think this one's pretty well publicized.
Yeah. It's probably the first one. Like it'll be the first one. Easy.
Yeah, for sure. Like Captain Britain.
Yeah.
Howard Stark is in it. Skinny Steve Rogers is in it. He goes into the Iron Man suit. That's
just that's a Stargirl like analog.
It's just like a gender swap kind of World War II.
Yeah.
That catching you? You pulling into the station reading that one?
Not at all. Not at all.
All right. The next one is T'Challa as Star-Lord. What if instead of it being whatever his name is, Peter Quill, T'Challa gets picked up?
No.
No?
No, I don't give a shit.
You don't have any. I mean, that I feel like would literally have no impact on the character because he grows up in isolation in space. So it's like,
yeah, it's the same exact person. He's a blank slate when he gets abducted.
It's an opportunity for T'Challa to be awesome, though. So.
I mean, the difference would be at the beginning of Guardians, we wouldn't hear all of the fun like 70s and 80s music. We'd hear like I don't know some. Fucking Wakanda music.
Careful.
I said Wakandan music. What are you talking about? Fuck you.
Okay. Winter Soldier versus Marvel Zombies. So they're doing Marvel Zombies.
No, not at all.
Zombie virus spreads. It hits the Avengers. Fantastic Four. That's interesting. Fantastic Four. X-Men Silver Surfer might be in this. So that'd be the first time really we see this iteration.
Is that one confirmed or is that one?
That is the original. That's the original Marvel Zombies.
So you're saying that? Okay, so that's the original. Is the Fantastic Four?
The Fantastic Four, X-Men, Avengers all become zombies. So like all of Marvel. Yeah. So I think it'd be interesting if they start bringing in some of those characters.
Yeah, but I'm saying, is this one confirmed?
It's not confirmed to have them in it. It's going to be a fight between the Winter Soldier, who's not a zombie, and Captain America, who is.
Yeah.
I am so out. I know how much you love The Walking Dead. I could not care less about zombies.
No, I don't give a fuck about. I don't give a fuck about.
This is a Walking Dead. I bet you could find 300 of these on Archive of Our Own.
Yeah, I don't give a shit.
Marvel, Avengers crossover with Walking Dead. And I bet they're fantastic.
I do not care.
Okay, here's some possible ones based off of the trailer. Speculation. What if Peter Parker becomes Hawkeye? I can't even say that one.
Who fucking cares? What is that? Why does that change anything?
What if Peter Parker, your favorite character, became everyone's least favorite character?
Literally. What if Tobey Maguire stuck a gun in his wife's mouth? That's more interesting.
All right. The idea is that even if Parker can't be Spider-Man, he's still destined to become a hero. Blah. Another rumored storyline.
No, I don't think so. No, hang on. That bothers. No, I'm mad. Okay. because the whole point of Peter Parker becoming a hero is not that he's destined. It's because he is told by his uncle what we all know: with great power comes great responsibility. If Peter Parker never gets the great power, he never feels the great responsibility. If anything, he'd become a scientist and do shit like that. Fuck you. Shut the fuck. Whatever.
No,
All right,
if
go.
Peter Parker didn't get bit by a spider, he would have a radical departure from his like
He'd
like
become an
super
archer in the middle of
genius,
Queens.
his super
Yeah.
genius upbringing, and just being like, "Let me get at them bows and arrows."
Yeah.
He
Oh,
would-
I can set up an archery stand in the middle of Queens. That's a good idea.
Here, it's really easy. I'll write this fan fiction. It's Peter Parker, 5th grade, has to do a book report. He's trying to get his science stuff done, but he's being forced. He's got to read. So he's like, fine, whatever. I'll pick this book, and it's Hunger Games. Boom. Peter Parker becomes Hawkeye. I wrote that. I bet it's better than whatever's going on in that episode.
Yeah. No. If that's how did they get that from the episode?
I don't know. It looked
Or
like
from the trailer.
We didn't really freeze it too much, but it looked like Peter Parker's head was in like a jar at one point. I didn't really know what I saw. I don't want to speculate too much. Another rumored storyline involves Loki somehow becoming worthy of Thor's hammer, which could act as a replacement for the original Jane Foster idea.
I mean, okay, yeah, because
canon.
yeah, Love and Thunder. Interestingly enough, Tom Hiddleston, that's his name, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, apparently he was like at the very like last rung of almost being Thor. So like,
Really?
oh, that's so fun. Yeah,
Yikes.
how stupid. Do you know Joel
Tom
Kinnaman?
Hiddleston. Oh, Loki. I thought I thought you meant Tom Holland. I was like, Tom
No,
Holland was
no.
almost.
No,
Yeah,
no,
I did
no,
hear
no.
that. I did hear that. Yeah, that's fine. That's whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
Another one is this one seems kind of interesting. What if Thanos killed the other half of people? So everyone who died in Infinity War.
That's interesting. That is interesting.
It was the other people.
Yeah.
I feel like honestly, they could have just done that. Like that would be a pretty cool.
So now we got Spider-Man, Doctor Strange, T'Challa, Winter Soldier. All those guys are trying to figure out how to bring everybody back.
Honestly,
I'm there for it.
That team's kind of stacked. Like
Doctor
Strange. He knew what was up. He knew the end
he's
game.
OP anyways. Yeah.
I think that was kind of the struggle of Endgame is that they didn't have Doctor Strange. So like that might be checkmate, bro.
Yeah.
What if Iron Man met Grand Master from Thor Ragnarok?
I haven't seen Ragnarok. I don't fucking care. Like whatever.
Thor goes into Iron Man goes to space instead of Thor for Ragnarok, which really wouldn't make sense.
No, that wouldn't make any sense. Also, like, okay, but they're not even pointing out the whole Killmonger rescuing Tony Stark thing.
Yeah, well, it's coming up. Iron Man would meet Korg.
How was that one speculated?
What
We
if
saw
Iron,
it.
What if Iron Man met Korg? I don't know.
Korg's the rock guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, what if Iron Man fought Hulk? We didn't see that in like 3 movies in a row.
He has a Hulkbuster armor.
All right. Okay. So that seems like the speculation. It seems like you said they totally missed like the big one. That what if Killmonger rescues Tony Stark, and then I guess.
I mean, if we're thinking about that through logically, I guess Killmonger was a soldier before he became Killmonger. So, what does Tony de-radicalize him, or does Killmonger radicalize Tony?
I'm gonna have to watch to find out. Would you read that fanfic? At surface level, I would not read that.
I would put my money on Killmonger making Tony realize that Wakanda could help the rest of the world if they wanted to, but choose not to, and then Tony gets all angry at them. That'd be kind of interesting, I guess. But Tony, like, de-radicalizing Killmonger, who gives a shit?
Yeah, no, that wouldn't be great. That wouldn't be
Yeah.
great. Yeah, there's some interesting ones there. I think the other half of the universe getting killed, that's kind of cool.
That's
honestly.
cool. I'm there for
I've
that.
been reading. I've been looking for a lot of like Avengers fanfic. I've not seen that concept. That sounds kind of cool.
No, that's cool. I could go for that.
But yeah, it's just this is going to be consumed by so many people, and then those are the same people where it's like, hey, would you read fan fiction? They'd be like, absolutely not. Maybe because it's reading, but also because it was written by like a sweaty person on the internet instead of I don't know who's writing this.
Fuck. I'm telling you, I don't think it's anyone who actually loves the material. I think it's someone who's looking for a job, and that's fine. Get your bag, bro. But like, not that I love MCU material. I really don't. Since we're talking about this, I just want to tell you, like, my soul died. There's a used bookstore here that I've been to once, and I went back to it, and they actually had a copy of House of M, which is the graphic novel that WandaVision is like very loosely based off of. Very loosely. and I've been looking for it, and they knew that WandaVision was coming. They knew that they advertised that House of M was the inspiration, and then they didn't reprint House of M. And the reason that's stupid is because they're making no money off of that, because you're just the people selling it secondhand are making the money. So long story short, I bought it because I wanted to read it, read it, really thought it was extremely meh. Like, it was okay, I guess.
Yeah, that's supposed to be one of the
But
best
I was-
Marvel stories. It seems kind of heady and out there for that to be like one of their seminal
It's-
works.
So the issue is it's a main like continuity story, but it's like right in the middle of a bunch of other things. So unless you knew exactly what was happening and then read afterwards, I don't feel like you get the context enough for the story
Honestly,
to matter.
is WandaVision
You know what I mean?
that much different?
Yeah, it is. The only reason that it's based off of House of M is because she gets upset and changes the world. That's it. Nothing is the same.
But in the idea
but
of
I was-
like the bunch of stuff's going on, you kind of don't get the full effect if you don't watch before and then after.
Nope. You know exactly what happens. It's trust me, it's not. I didn't think it was very good, and I went on Goodreads because I was like logging it on my Goodreads, and the top community review is from February 17th of this year. It was actually so fun seeing MCU and X-Men characters exist in the same universe. Not gonna lie.
Oh boy.
Holy fuck! Really? Really? Oh my! What? You'd like to see the X-Men and the Avengers in the same universe? Just pick up a fucking book. Pick up literally
Dude,
any
if only
book.
someone could get these X-Men in the MCU, that'd be great. If only I would just
wouldn't
love
that
to see
be-
their interactions. Like what? Like, could you imagine?
I just,
I feel like I could read that stuff forever. I mean, watch that stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
watch.
I just like that'd be so cool. And I love how she said MCU and X-Men. What?
I wish we could get the MCU
so-
and the Fox X-Men together in a room and just like have like unlimited stories. Also, those
So I'm telling-
Fantastic Four movies. Where are those guys at? I like those guys.
Yeah, where's Miles Teller? And why is Michael B. Jordan also the Human Torch? And why is the Human Torch also Captain America? So I feel like What If is made for MCU fans. And the reason that I'm throwing that out there is because I feel like they're teasing that like, oh, you know the What If series that's beloved and we have all these different volumes and like it's really cool and like everyone loves it. Yeah, that's what this is going to be, comic book fans, and I feel like it's not. I feel like it's just for MCU people. They're only going to highlight because they're using the voices.
Yeah.
So no, I have no faith in it being anything interesting, and I hate to be so like mean about it, but I feel like if you've listened to this podcast, you know my opinion on the MCU. So like, I don't be
Do you
surprised.
think it
Fuck you.
speaks
I
to
don't know.
any larger movement towards legitimization of fan fiction as like a media worthy of consumption?
I'm gonna say no, only because I'm gonna pull an arrow out of George R. Martin's quiver, which is a weird thing to do because he hates fan fiction. But he made a statement that like, yeah, I used to write fan fiction, but back when I wrote fan fiction, it's only because it was fiction written by the fans. So I wrote Manta Ray and I wrote this and I had Crag the Impaler. And so like I feel like part of the deal with fan fiction is that it is written by fans. And so it's like
Does that mean everything
the
Dave
question
Filoni makes for Star Wars is fan fiction?
No. I was going to say that I feel like the question you're posing is Dave Filoni writing fan fiction? And my answer to that is no, because the corporate overlords that own the IP give him permission to. And it's considered canon because they're the owners of the property. And so,
this is
like,
not canon.
you know, I
so
don't
therefore,
think
what is it? It's not canon.
it's a what if. But I don't feel like, I don't feel like it's fan fiction, but I feel like it's like almost like a thumbs up to tell a quick short story, a quick what if, but I don't feel like it's fan. You know what I mean?
I
don't
guess I
feel
see
like
what you,
fan
it's
fiction
very
because
much like the like what you said. It's like, wow, like this is like an idea of what fan fiction kind of is, but it's gonna be digested by the crowd who's like, man, I really like MCU and X-Men. I wish those guys get together. Oh well, let me go to the next thing.
Oh, that'd be cool. If only Wolverine's ever met the Hulk. But it's and I feel like
Deadpool
part of
and
it too is
Spider-Man
that
get along great.
they'd be great
darn.
friends. Darn it! Why can't? Oh man! Imagine if Ryan Reynolds met Tom Holland. I
There's
feel
something
like
good. There's some
the
sort of
original
magnetism between this Magneto guy and Scarlet Witch. I don't know what it is. I would love to know about their story.
He just seems like I'm gonna write a fan fiction where he's like her dad. That'd be a great story. I feel like the what if issues. Not that I just said I've never read them, but I'll speak more specifically to what I'm familiar with. The Elseworld stories. I feel like those are written in a place by someone who really knows the material and went to the publisher and was like, "Hey, I have this great idea. What if?
What if? What are you guys gonna
Joker-
call it? What
fuck. No. What if the Joker was like, oh, it just takes one bad day, and then we try to make the Joker have, I don't know, Commissioner Gordon or Batman have one bad day, and they're like, that sounds really good. Like, write that, but it just won't be main continuity. And he's like, yeah, of course, because it would just like ruin everything. And it's just like a fun exploration of a thing that they don't want to cross a line for. You know what I mean? Like,
They don't want
it's
the
like,
repercussions of.
exactly. They're like we want to present this story to you in an interesting way and in an original way, because you can never have this main continuity, and then we're gonna wash our hands of it because it's not real. And that's okay.
Do you think that? I mean, that's cool, but like, do you think it'll turn off audiences the way you're kind of turned off? It's like, I don't have to watch this. What are the repercussions? And that's like the big allure of the MCU is like everything matters. I gotta watch this one because if I don't, then I mean, it's like the Joker is great, but like you can watch the upcoming Batman, you could watch the Justice League, whatever, you could watch Suicide Squad. Yeah. You didn't need to watch it, but it was so good. So it's like
Joker was fantastic.
Do you think it'll kind of go that way? Do you think this is us kind of breaking out of the everything has to be so serialized and moving towards that, like one off with IP that people know, but just like individual stories?
Yeah, I feel like I think there's an issue here, and I think the issue is we've been conditioned through these MCU movies to expect canon and to expect interconnectivity, and I think that's really cool, and I think that's good. But at the same time, I feel like it almost robs the individual characters of their stories, and that was my biggest gripe with Spider-Man: Homecoming. It was not a Spider-Man movie. It was an Iron Man Jr. like coming of age story. I wasn't interested. Like I was just it wasn't a Spider-Man movie because I feel like Iron Man was in it way too much. And I feel like it's cool because you're like, oh my God, that's like Tony Stark, and I saw him in the other movies. But at the same time, I think it's like no, I don't care about Tony. If I want to watch Tony Stark, I'll watch Iron Man. I don't want to watch him. I want to watch Iron Man, or I want to watch Spider-Man. So it's like
this could be. We'll move on right after this. Do you think that this could be, if this does really well, if everyone loves this and like I want more of this, do you think Disney could be like, oh wow, like it's been a good like 13-year run. We don't need to make every movie connected. Maybe we can start doing like a movie about this character that just is in a vacuum. Do you think that this, if this is mega successful, it has any impact, or is this literally just we got to fill a slot, get people to sign up for Disney's Plus? What are we gonna do?
I'm gonna go with no, only because this is an animated television show, and the money is just not sunk into it like it is in the movie universe. I mean, the literal billions of dollars are sunk into the movie universe that I feel like they can't.
Even in a world where a petition can get the remake of Justice League put on, you don't think that there's going to be a petition for like, we want Peggy Carter as Captain America?
I think specifically with the Snyder Cut, those were very specific events and unique events that created that atmosphere. Mainly HBO Max just trying to get a fucking bag, and knowing how crazy those people are.
Yeah, and also he kind of there's a legitimate case. He kind of his vision was taken
100%.
He would have completed it, but he literally could not. So
yeah, and also if you think about it, the Joss Whedon, it's come out that Joss Whedon apparently was like an absolute tyrant on set and nobody wanted to work with him. And it's come out that the fucking CFO, CEO, whoever was in charge creatively at Warner Brothers at the time was like having sex with like young actresses, promising them. I feel like the people that came after him were like, oh, we really need to wash our hands of this really toxic shit that happened around this movie. And then they said, oh, he didn't get to finish making it because his daughter committed suicide. So I feel like that was a very specific.
You don't think that was the first of the fence? Okay, yeah, you have a very good point there. I'm just trying to somehow tie this to our theme and kind of what it could do, what it could mean. But if the Marvel machine is going to keep rolling, then is what it is.
I think it's a machine, and that's one of I know I rag on the MCU a lot. I don't mean to. I promise you, I don't stay awake at night seething about the MCU. I feel like you described it perfectly as a machine when was the last director-driven MCU movie that wasn't the Russo brothers that you cared about?
I mean, Ragnarok was probably it, and then before that,
Taika
nothing.
Waititi?
Yeah.
James Gunn.
Yeah, maybe the first Guardians, because even the second Guardians was bad.
So that's what, 5? We'll give it. Actually, I don't even want to count Civil War because I feel like they were just trying to shoehorn plot into there. So I'm gonna give it Avengers 3 and 4 and Winter Soldier, Guardians 1 and Ragnarok. So that's what, 5 movies out of 26, 25. So it's a fifth of the movies. I don't think they fucking care, dude. It's a machine. Like who directed motherfucking Black Widow?
Couldn't tell you.
I don't know. Who directed Captain Marvel?
Oh yeah, that's the one I thought you were gonna ask. I have no idea. That's got no thumbprints. That movie.
That's my point. I'm not diminishing or minimizing the work of any of these directors, but it almost feels like anybody could do it because of the fact that it has to be interconnected and tonally the same. And that's why, for better or for worse, the DCEU is on one hand a train wreck, but on the other hand can put out like really good movies like Wonder Woman because. Well, you know, fucking Patty Jenkins has her fingerprints all over that. You know, when you watch the Snyder Cut, Zack Snyder put a cut together because that's Zack Snyder.
Real quick before I move on, Patty Jenkins also had her hands all over Wonder Woman in 1984.
I haven't seen it.
Oh, you pleading ignorance. Please keep pleading.
I haven't seen it.
All right, let's move on. What do you got for us today?
Okay. No, I think this was a great opening topic. I feel like I'm being very pessimistic. I hope I'm proven wrong. I just feel like this is going to go nowhere. I feel like it's not going to have any stakes. And if I'm watching a thing that's interconnected to 20 other 2-hour things, I want there to be stakes. Fuck you. Just like I don't want to see Black Widow because I know she's not going to die. Fuck you. I'm not going to care enough about her sister by the end of the movie when her sister dies because I'm sure that's what happens. I don't know, but I'm guessing. I don't care enough about her sister right now to be like, oh no, her sister. Like, fuck, whatever. So I need stakes. That's why I didn't like Rogue One as much as I should have because it's
Rogue
like
One was so good.
Rogue One was great, but it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Well,
you know
to that
I mean?
point, you could be like, why would I even like the prequels? I know where this is going.
Yeah,
any prequels
no,
impossible
I'm right there
to
with
pull
you.
off.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
On Solo too. So whatever. I'm sorry. I'm fickle. I don't mean to be. And this is coming from the same person that just read a 700-page Dune prequel book.
That's totally different. You read the Butlerian Jihad, right?
Yeah.
That's totally different. That's awesome, and none of the characters exist.
Yes, it's literally 10,000 years in the future or in the past.
Yeah.
The only thing I know is that they don't blow the universe up.
Couple words. I'll give you like 5 words. Was that good?
Big plot dump, not bad.
Yeah. Okay.
I think that's a good way to go about it. If you like the Duneverse, go ahead and read it. If you want to waste the time, if you're in the Duneverse for the craft, you're going to be very upset if you want to read it.
It's a lot more than 5 words. All right, what we got?
Fuck you. Okay. Do you want me to? We know what the title is. Do you want me to tell you who it's about?
I guess everyone knows because people watching the stream know, people listening know, and then you told me. So okay, say it again.
You know what the title is? Okay, this is epic. You have no idea what it is.
I feel ashamed. I don't.
That's okay. Do you want me to tell you who it's about, or you just want me to start reading and then you can get the surprise? I normally like to go about that way.
I like that better.
Okay. I'm gonna clear my throat. I'm gonna keep going. I'll read the summary afterwards because I think it'll obviously get away.
Okay, I've got the picture queued up. You let me know.
Perfect. It's 2 chapters.
I'm staring at the picture. I've got no idea what's about to happen.
Chapter 1, the epic meeting. The scent of freshly brewed, bitter Americano wafted throughout the establishment. Jordan Peterson currently occupied a quaint cafe. He believed it was called the South Will Raisin Again. Sat between the window and the uncomfortable, ill-cushioned chair his plush rear was seated upon. Despite the noisy atmosphere of the coffee shop, potentially increased due to the number of SJW protesters outside, screaming with their high-pitched, stereotypical voices, Jordan had difficulty making out whether they were protesting his presence or the presence of several Confederate-themed pastries and drinks on the menu. Ah, well, either way, they were suppressing his freedom of speech, and he wouldn't spare a single glance in their direction. Having yet to order, he was investing a minute or two into reading only the finest of novels, particularly of the philosophical variety, hoping to up his dwindling IQ by a few points. He looked to the two books inhabiting the corner of his table, directing his attention to the startling red and gold cover of a particularly controversial 200-year radical leftist virtue-signaling, murder-inducing piece of literature, topped off with a hammer and sickle, of course. Picking up his copy of the Communist Manifesto with expert attention, he symbolically slam-dunked the red-covered Kool-Aid-stained, overrated listicle into the trash bin, incidentally occupying the space right to the wooden legs of his chair. Absolutely worth the $3.99 spent an hour or two ago in the nearest half-price books. Jordan was absolute in his conviction that he must have looked cool as fuck in the process of destroying the phantasm of cultural Marxism, hoping a patron or two of the establishment had noticed his incredibly epic moment. No one spared a glance. He pouted. What was underneath the recently disposed pinko garbage, however, was the true treasure. Dangerous by Milo Yiannopoulos. Another delightful purchase from Infowars.com. Flipping through the pages, Jordan found himself taking in very little information. The only thing standing out being the usage of slurs every other word. However, a distraction was a distraction, and that was exactly what he needed. So how do you feel so far?
I don't know how to feel. I'm confused. It is funny. What is it? What the South will raisin again?
Yeah, I don't get the South will raisin again.
It's like a
honestly.
bakery or something, but it's also
yeah.
Yeah.
Coffee shop bakery. With
So
raisins.
he's just at like an edgelord bakery, and he's slam dunking the Communist Manifesto, reading a Milo Yiannopoulos book.
No. It's Milo Yiannopoulos.
Yeah, so it's not the actual spelling.
Yiannopoulos.
Yiannopoulos.
Yeah, literally just some fucking Yiannopoulos.
I have no idea. Is this a Jordan? Is this a 10 rules for life fanfic, 12 rules for life fan fiction?
Just wait.
Oh boy.
A distraction, of course, from one of the greatest tragedies of his short, sad little life. The real reason he found himself in a Confederate-themed cafe far away from Canada, or rather a border away, and with a stack of paperwork scattered about. However, this was no normal paperwork. It was divorce papers.
Aww.
The radical leftist had taken the most important thing away from him, his wife. He knew he should have done something earlier, sooner before this could have ever happened. First, his wife learned what feminism meant, and what seemed like no time was reading Judith Butler and saying gender was a social construct. No more than a month ago, he found out that she was more interested in a man by the name of Mr. Carlos Marcus, and no betrayal had hit him deeper than that. Being cucked by a college-attending liberal arts degree-having post-modernist neo-Marxist, surprisingly ripped man was the last thing he had expected, and, frankly, the most terrifying possible outcome. Merely acknowledging the fact made him put his head in his hands, shaking. In this moment, in his stupor, he found the noises of the SJW protesters, the screaming, the yelling, the violence, to be too much. He couldn't help but contemplate why in the world he chose a window table, as every sign and scream of the evil nature of white cis straight men brought him closer to insanity. His hands shaking steadily as he covered his face as the triggered screams got louder and louder until... Hey, you hear those special snowflakes out there? Where's the facts and logic in yelling at people until they agree with you, folks?
Here it comes.
Came a voice. Strangely familiar in its intonation and oddly obnoxious, yet alluring in quality. Could it be? It was. He heard, not saw, the sound of Ben Shapiro sliding smoothly into the other side of the booth. Jordan allowed himself to remove his sweaty palms from his face and take in the image of the man before him. Seeing him in his classic smug debate stance, hands in front of him, his face doing something oddly reminiscent of every DreamWorks face. He couldn't tell what made him
face. They're so smug. Those animated characters are like, even if it's like a fox, they're so freaking smug and so got so much attitude. Oh, dang, that's amazing. That is what I read fan fiction for.
He couldn't tell how that made him feel, except for the odd feeling that settled in the pit of his stomach. Okay. I'd get a headache too if I was listening to those liberals whining for hours on end too, you know.
That's a good Shapiro.
Oh, good. Apparently he interpreted his near breakdown as a reaction to a liberal-induced migraine. That made things a whole lot less embarrassing. Jordan's voice started up smoothly, yet with an air of hesitance. You hate liberals too? He trailed off with an uncertainty underlining his voice, a trait not seen within himself. I thought I was the only one. The corners of Ben's lips quirked into a smirk. Far from it, actually. There's an entire community of us, came Ben's nasally reply. Jordan's breath hitched as he felt something bump against his epic sock-sandal combo. He concluded that it had to have been an accident, as Ben continued his line of thought without hesitation. We may be small in number, at least, compared to the liberal population. The enlightened man sitting across Jordan spat the word liberal like it was a disease. Jordan felt something against his feet again, this time more insistent. He quickly realized what he was feeling was bare toesy woesies, trying to slide off his shitty foam sandals. His heart rate sped up, but he did not try to stop Ben. Think of it as a counterculture movement. The silenced, the scorned rising up to fight against the oppressive, politically correct cultural Marxism, came Ben's voice once again. At as much of a purr of a voice that high nasally could muster. It drove Jordan absolutely bonkers that Ben's face refused to indicate any acknowledgement of what was happening just under the cheap wooden table. At this point, Ben had succeeded in removing Jordan's sandals and was now working on his sweaty socks.
Oh, good lord.
Jordan's hands had a vice grip on the edge of the table. He could feel his scrotum tightening with delight. He couldn't remember the last time his ex-wife made him feel like this.
Ooh.
He realized sheepishly that Ben was still staring at him, expression fixed in that classic DreamWorks face. Ben was expecting some kind of I'm sorry. Ben was expecting some kind of response while Jordan was about 2 toe strokes away from bursting his go-gurt in his pants like a teenager. Jordan drew a shaky breath, trying to compose himself enough to say something worthy of Ben's manlet ears. He opened his mouth.
Wait, manlet? As in like man-child?
Like a little man, yeah. Like a piglet, but a man, yeah. He opened his mouth, but what the 2 men heard was not his own voice. "Are y'all going to order something or what?" piped the sole barista in the establishment. She was leaning over the counter with an unamused and positively bored stare. Even Ben seemed somewhat startled by this, but he could not let himself be cucked by the blonde barista now thrumming her fingers against the pristine counter, which bore the colors of the American flag like any fine establishment ought to. Ben smirked. He physically cannot smile like a normal person without looking like a rabid dog burying its teeth in aggression, so he's resorted to using smug expressions, though. Maybe a sign of aggression wouldn't be too bad right now. He glanced back at the menu. That was all in parentheses, sorry.
Oh, wow.
1 black coffee, Ben ordered with finality. He hoped everyone else in the building recognized the sheer manliness of drinking his coffee without any of the added sugars or creams that your usual cuck may want. The barista simply wrote down his order without reaction, and Jordan was far too flustered, looking over the menu to even notice. They were the only people in the tiny cafe. Jordan was caught by surprise when the barista had initially interrupted their titillating game and was still reeling as she waited on his order. He couldn't believe this new side of himself, reduced to a mess after some simple ministrations from Ben's toesy woesies to his own. Ben's wonderful, glorious, "Sir, are you going to order something?" The barista interrupted his quickly spiraling thoughts, her impatience now evident in her voice. All right, yes." Jordan cleared his throat, regaining some semblance of his smoother, more professional self. He cannot let himself slip like that in public. "I'll have the Blueberry Lives Matter smoothie, please." The barista smiled at the righteous humor of the drink and nodded before asking the pair for their names, despite being the first and only patrons that week. She turned and began to make drinks, revealing the back of her T-shirt, which declared in large papyrus font, "Build the wall." Comforted by the patently American right-wing mantra, Jordan had nearly forgotten about his activities with the man across from him. That is, until he felt Ben's expert toes against his bare skin. It seemed, while he was busy ordering his drink, Ben had succeeded in working Jordan's socks off, quickly reducing the psychologist to short, gasping breaths. It was enough to finally make his Go-Gurt tube burst, its key lime pie-flavored contents. Briefly, dazedly, Jordan wondered why he even shoved a Go-Gurt tube down his pants in the first place.
That was a good misdirection, Mr. Man over there, whoever's writing this.
It's literally written by Health.
And I said Mr. Man because, like, well, you know what? He or she. I don't know. I was about to say, no way could a woman write this, but it's possible.
It's possible. So the summary, that's the end of chapter 1. The summary is Jordan Peterson needs respite from his newly filed divorce, and Ben Shapiro needs psychological help and acceptance will either be able to provide. And then in parentheses, epic liberal ponage compilation number 69, gay version.
Oh my god. It's like when they come out with like 30 different versions of a song.
Literally, yeah. And then the additional tags
Lil Nas X remix.
Little Nas X remix, 18th time. Canon trans character, I don't know who that is. Borderline personality disorder, trans character, trans male character, pegging, foot fetish, footsies, alternate universe, coffee shops, lawyers, therapy, psychologists, smuts, shameless smut, eventual smut, fluff and smut, BDSM, MAGA, dom sub undertones, alpha beta omega dynamics, poop socks, cum dungeon.
Well, they slipped MAGA in there. I don't know.
MAGA was in there.
It's all my least favorite words. This is a cafe one. I feel like we haven't done a cafe one yet.
It's been a while. Last time we did one was, I think, for the Fiverr episode.
Oh yes, yeah. With Ben
Yeah.
Solo and
You and Ben Solo, yeah.
and
So chapter 2, The Reckoning.
am I gonna put up the picture yet?
Oh, you haven't put it up yet?
No.
Oh, I told you after like the first paragraph. Yeah. Put it up.
What is this?
Okay. So,
What am I looking at? It's a is this? Did you send me the right thing? It's a mouse on a lobster. Holding a scroll with it looks like something's written in Latin. I don't even know.
yeah. I sent you the exact right thing.
What is this? What in the whole world? You have got great Ben Shapiro, by the way, and your Peterson sounds one really good, and B like a South Park character. Like, we need to get out of here.
Yeah. Oh God. Okay. So the photo, because of the first 12 rules for life, like the first rule, he talks about dominance hierarchies and lobsters.
Oh yeah.
And so it became like this huge meme with him that like everything had to become lobster themed. And so he like sells lobster merchandise now. And when Ta-Nehisi Coates like wrote him as the Red Skull in Captain America, he had someone draw a Hydra symbol but with a lobster, and sold merch. So the lobster his thing. And then I'd give my explanation for the rest of the photo, but it might be anti-Semitic.
Okay. What does the scroll mean? What does that say?
Oh, dude. I was just looking for a photo to put up, and that just popped up, and I was like, that's fucking hilarious. So, yeah, that's the photo. I don't. Yeah, there we go. It's on the live stream now. I see it. It's a mouse or a rat riding a lobster. So, okay, this is. What do you think so far? How do we feel?
I really can't tell. I think the author of this is just angry at everyone and everything. I can't necessarily peg my put my finger on this
it's like
the
it's
societal
like
message. Sorry, I just pulled up some. I've got some pictures of our two boys, our two golden boys.
Lovers. The thing is like I feel like the person who wrote this doesn't like them, but knows a little too much about them to like write with such accuracy and with such detail. So it's just like, I don't know what the vibe is.
Just keep watching
you know
the
what I'm
live
saying?
stream. Got some great pictures here.
No, it's good. I can't wait for them to pull up. Yeah, I don't know. It's like I feel like they know too much, so I don't think they like haven't listened to them, but I also don't feel like they like them. So it's like, are they like hate watching Ben Shapiro and Jordan Peterson, or like what's going on?
Yeah, they really nailed it. I mean, such is the life of an author, right? You just want to get it right. You know, you
I guess
spend hours watching something so you can understand it. And
imagine someone like hating them so much, and they're like, "I'm gonna write a fanfic about them fucking," but then they have to like watch hours of their content just to get it right.
Yeah, they get completely like radicalized, and then they swing all the way back. They get radicalized the other way. It's been like 3 months. They haven't written the thing yet.
Exactly. They go down the New York Times radicalization rabbit hole that they talked about, and they just like turn into some like not like some perceived Nazi.
And then they a hard pendulum swing back to like Russian, and then it goes
yeah. I love it. I think it's hilarious. The fucking DreamWorks thing is so good.
That might be one of my favorite things we've read in fan fiction so far. All right, keep going. We got chapter 2 coming up. Right. Got some pictures up on the live stream. We're having a good time.
Chapter 2. I'm still waiting for them to come up on the live stream, but I'm excited when they do. So I'll click back. Chapter 2, The Reckoning. Ben held steady eye contact while Jordan recovered from his go-kart accident. The atmosphere is intense, intimate. The moment was tragically broken, however, when Ben's voice filled the room. Except it wasn't his voice. It was his ringtone, a compilation of his most epic liberal poems. Jordan could already feel his go-kart tube reinflate at the sound of his sultry, whining voice doing what it does best, dominating. Benny Boy's face reddened and his eyes widened. Hastily, the man stood up. Jordan found himself disappointed. I'm looking at the photos that you're going through right now. That is very good. Watch your penis. Taking the call, Ben Shapiro walked to the side of the table, still steadily watching Jordan with those sly, just made you shoot your go-gurt in your pants eyes. It barely registered in his head what the man that only just rubbed him salaciously through his socks was saying, until he clicked off the cell phone and gave Jordy a saddened look. He couldn't stay here much longer. That much was apparent. Jordan nodded understandingly, trying to mask his heartbreak. Ben smirked smexily, once again compensating for his inability to smile like a normal human being. Jordy continued to stare after him longingly. As the manlet stepped out of the cafe, greeted by a small crowd of screeching communist liberal justice warriors, the sound of their shrill voices had captured the attention of the sole staff member in the establishment. She glanced over at Jordan before doing a double take. At this point, Jordan had totally forgotten his state, bare feetsies exposed and Go-Gurt staining the crotch of his pants. As he crossed his thick thighs over one another in a pathetic attempt at hiding the
Hold on, real
Go-Gurt
quick. I
leaking
think
from
I'm
his
getting a
groin.
package. This is live stream
Oh,
at
you're
its
good.
finest.
Oh, damn. Now I'm interested. How do I riff? He's doing something. What do I do to riff? Toesy Woesies. I don't know. Here, let me see. Okay, now this is epic. Let me see. Can I find something interesting to talk about? I'm hoping Ryan got a package that I sent him, but I have a feeling he didn't already get it. If he did, UPS is very efficient, and you should use them. But if he didn't, I don't know what to tell you. Oh, there you go. You can hear him in the background. I got it. Thank you. Here we go. I just started watching The Lord of the Rings for the first time. It's pretty cool, I guess. Is that interesting to people? I've only gotten through the second one, but... Oh, wait, is he back?
I'm back.
Okay, perfect.
Good package.
What was the package?
It was Giant Connect 4. Don't worry about
Why
it.
do you have-
I got Giant Connect
Okay.
4.
Hashtag just summer things, I guess.
Yep.
Okay, interesting. Where did I leave off?
Toesy Woesies, he had Go-Gurt on his pants. The man
yeah,
has
Go-Gurt,
left.
Go-Gurt.
Now the lady's walking over.
Actually, okay. As he crossed his thick thighs over one another in a pathetic attempt at hiding the Go-Gurt leaking from his groin in plentiful amounts, his ass cheeks made a distinctive squeaky noise against the now Go-Gurt covered seat, wet against his protruding rear. How embarrassing. The waitress looked down in disgust, her eyes caught on the bare toesies that flexed and wriggled with the oncoming anxiety of being caught in the act. Eventually she spoke up, her voice tainted with a poisonous tone. "We don't serve your kind in this establishment," came the deeply southern hiss. Jordan simply raised a brow. "Well," he stood up, dusting himself off despite the ever-growing creamy white stain that found itself covering the majority of his crotch. "I need to go clean my room anyways." He turned to the door, and before he finally exited the anti-psychiatry establishment, he glanced over his shoulder and spat. "So fuck you!" It was deeply epic.
It does sound epic.
He walked out to the same screaming as Ben had, except this time it quickly died down to a stunned silence. Every vile liberal eye was drawn to the sopping wet stain on Jordan's pants. In a way, this exhilarated him and only granted him further confidence, and he pushed past the jealous crowd of feminists. For the first time since his encounter with Ben, Jordan glanced at his phone. Shit. He had to see his divorce lawyer now. The pep in his step had disappeared all at once. He was reminded of the situation. His beautiful wife cucked him, and he had to deal with the consequences. All the power and self-confidence from his steamy encounter with the one and only liberal poner Ben Shapiro had began to slowly drain. With his head down, his crotch calcified over like an eye cyst, and his depression once again in full swing.
Read that one more time. His crotch calcified over like an eye cyst.
Yeah, that's word for word. And his
That's a
depression
great
once
one.
again in full swing.
This one's got bars. This
I'm just bothered because it's like the like actual like punctuation and everything is terrible. But the like imagery
Peak.
and the humor and the wit is actually really
peak
good.
fanfic. Peak fanfic.
Literally, yeah.
No punctuation, no grammar, but just like
Yeah.
amazing wordplay.
Yeah. Jordan shakily shoved his hand in his pocket, the slick wetness from the previous encounter seeping even into the fabric there as he pulled out a thin, definitely stained slip of paper. In small black text read the address to where he was supposedly meeting the lawyer in question. Interestingly enough, it didn't appear to be an office building, but rather a private residency. Good old Jordy couldn't help but raise a brow. He quickly entered the address into Google Maps, his sticky, Go-Gurt-covered fingers tapping on the screen with what could easily be described as clopping noises.
Dude, just take a second and wash your hands. Like,
Clean your room and wash your hands, bro. With the rather
I have
interesting
to
house
clean my
brought up
room.
on
I
his phone.
forgot that's one of the rules.
Yeah. With the rather interesting house brought up on his phone, he quickly called an Uber, as he always does and always has, given that he doesn't have a driver's license. It didn't take long for a car to
Is
pull
that
up to the
true?
sidewalk
Does he
where he
not have a
stood.
driver's license?
I've literally never heard that before. I mean, I don't know why that would be true. No, because he's talked about, hang on, Jordan Peterson driver's license? Is that like, does he not? The fear of driving, definitely afraid of the idea of no, I don't, okay. I guess I just added that in for fun. I have no idea. It didn't take long for a car to pull up to the sidewalk where he stood. The driver couldn't miss him, considering Jordan's epic status as a modern-day philosopher and the fact that all the other pedestrians were making a point to keep a 6'9" radius from old yogurt crotch. Jordan entered the back seat of the white 2007 Honda Civic. There was a rhythmic clapping from his cheeks, the naughty cheeks, as he entered, punctuated by a weak squelch of his sopping wet bubble butt met the pristine fabric of the car seat.
Oh my god, it's like that. It's like Patrick. That Patrick is going
yeah.
Patrick Star with the cheeks.
Just as the divorcee was beginning to get comfortable, he finally caught sight of his driver. Jordan narrowed his eyes in suspicion at the long mop of dyed pink hair. Looks like an SJW. The ride began innocently enough until the Uberer pulled out a massive blunt with their incredibly muscular arm. "Papa Smoke!" they grunted, simply, yet with such a strong conviction that all at once Jordan understood. The Uber driver took a sip of the weed, eyes narrowed as they spotted Jordy's old disheveled face in the car mirror. He looked frail and unshaven and became even more so under the scrutinizing, big-dicked, powerful gaze. "Are you winning, son?" Jordan knew the answer was no. He didn't say a word, and for a moment, that was enough.
Jordan did not understand the question, but he knew the answer was no.
No, yeah. Jordan exited the car in silence, and a newer, humbler man. The house before him seemed to loosely match the image provided by redacted due to copyright. Okay.
Google Images, I guess.
Except in person, it seemed much more ominous. The absolute absence of any vehicles or any human presence whatsoever was unnerving. Nevertheless, shaking in his tiny, minuscule baby shoes, worn, Jordan Peterson pressed on. The door was slightly ajar, so there was no need to knock. Inside, the house was dark, with the exception of the dimly lit hallway that seemed to lead to a stairway downwards, the surrounding walls and rooms shrouded in complete inky blackness. The psychologist was tense, his perfect dick-sucking throat constricted nervously. What the fuck? But he knew he couldn't go back. Sorry, that what the fuck wasn't written, my bad. He had a divorce to file. Beads of sweat welled at his forehead as he headed towards the stairwell at the end of the hallway, and he could have sworn he saw something skitter past his feet as he took the first step down into what he could only assume to be a basement of some sort, and in that moment, he felt a hand grab him, twisting at his wrist violently, pulling him feverishly down the stairs, and just as Jordan was about to scream, I want to make sure I know who this is. It's who I think it is. Just give me a second, because I want to do the voice right. Okay, bro, don't scream. What are you, some kind of SJW snowflake? God, this is not epic of you. Immediately, Jordan's eyeballs almost popped out of his skull, and his limp dick just nearly flew into orbit at the familiar, shrill, incredibly fuckable voice. In his moment of shock, he was pulled into a room that was surprisingly lit in all four corners, and he could hear the slam of the door behind him. Slowly coming back to reality, he began to take in the room around him. It was most certainly a man cave, decked out with a TV, pictures of lewd anime girls, a poop sock or two, multiple beanie bags, and a clearly unstable table. The scent of the poop socks wafted throughout the room, fermented by the clear implication of piss and cum on the walls and floor. This wasn't just a man cave, but a cum dungeon. Jordan was mortified, until he allowed his eyes to make contact with the man that he craved. The one that was apparently his lawyer? Whose house is this? Jordan managed out a quiet mutter. Very beta of him. Shapiro couldn't help but think. He allowed a smirk to play across his lips. If only he knew how to smile like a regular human. I like how they keep going back to that.
If only he had a non-reptilian facial expression.
If only he wasn't like a creepy smiler. My friend, my good pal, Alex. Alex? Ben Shapiro inhaled sharply. Jones. The psychologist's eyes widened at that. Who is in my lair? Rasped a voice, booming voice. Completely startling poor Jordy. I smell soy. Jordan grew more afraid, more and more fearful.
Oh my god, he's like the troll under the bridge. This is definitely like something I would see like a children's theater in like California, the San Francisco Bay would be doing this.
100%.
They'd be like, "Do you know who's coming out?" They'd be like, "No." The big bet.
B5O, they're turning the fucking frogs gay.
Oh my god, this is ridiculous. This is outrageous.
My My client, called back Ben, briefly breaking his intimidating stare to glance back towards a corner of the room so inky black that it seemed to be slowly swallowing the room.
Ooh, I like
Belatedly, Jordan realized this to be the strongest source of the Cum Dungeon's rank musk. In a way, it made sense that this was the InfoWars headquarters. If not marked by the various paraphernalia, then surely the poop sock should have made it apparent. Unfortunately, I really don't get the poop sock thing. Unfortunately, this did nothing to slow Jordan's quickly beating heart, and hearing his dear Benny speak his oh-so-desirable chipmunk voice with such familiarity to Alex Jones's corner added a soft ache of jealousy. Don't mind Alex. He just gets like that when he's horny, Ben reassured, his gaze back to that familiar ponage state. Seeing it when Benny destroys epic liberals on YouTube is one thing, but in person? And to be personally directed at Jordan himself, it was undoubtedly the end of this particular pair of pants' life, as on top of the now crystallized key lime Gogurt Jordan Omega's fluids were now making a further mess of his ratty boxers and Daisy Dukes. As his pants were soaked with his flowing Omega juices, the sweet sap of his boy pussy, self-lubricated and ready for Ben Shapiro's hypothetical hard red knot, we got to nodding, he realized he was being distracted from the situation at hand by the extremely handsome manlet before him. He was there to file a divorce, and that was final. As if reading his thoughts, Benny Boy smirked smugly, radiating an aura of pure alpha energies. Let's lawyer. Soon enough, the two were sitting at Benny's messy desk, a variety of legal papers. Let's lawyer. A variety of legal papers spread out, slightly stained by the leftover poop sock residue. Alex Jones's heavy breathing was an impressive ambience over the already disgusting room. Dr. Jordan Peterson? Ben chimed, looking over some fucking document. Jordan hesitant.
just like some plots, whatever, to move this along.
Document, whatever, fuck you. Jordy hesitantly nodded before clearing his throat phlegm. Psychologist, actually, he clarified. I'm what some would call a modern-day philosopher. Ben's eyes immediately widened, his mouth twitching into what may be described as an ooh-woo face, an OWO face. The lawyer reached over the table, hastily grabbing at JPB's wrinkly, paper-like, crusted over in sticky Gogurt and other unidentified fluids hands. If Ben Shapiro was capable of an expression other than smugness, it was in this moment. His eyes were pleading. Please help me. And that's the end of the fic, bro.
Wow. Really left me on a cliffhanger. That was really funny.
I agree. I legitimately agree. The last time it was updated was in 2019, April of 2019. So I have a feeling we're never going to get a conclusion to this tale. But what did you think? I'd love to hear all your thoughts on it.
Obviously, I laughed quite a bit. It was funny. It is startling how much research went into this so that they could accurately portray each one of these crazy characters. I really wish there was more Alex Jones. I feel like with more chapters comes more Alex Jones.
Agreed. Joe Rogan somewhere.
Joe Rogan might make an entry.
Joe Rogan somewhere.
Yeah. No, that was great. Great words. Calcified.
Agreed.
What was it? Gogurt and calcified.
Key lime Gogurt.
And the DreamWorks. I just like, that's what I read fan fiction for. It's just like this kind of like, like a reference for like what, and then you think about it for a second. You're like the Over the Hedge movie poster, and you're like, why is that squirrel so smug? What?
I love Over the Hedge too. Fuck. That's so funny. I really liked it. I thought the writing was like I said, spelling or the grammar. The spelling was fine. It was mainly the grammar and like the placement of shit, punctuation, not great at all. Kind of confusing sometimes. Who fucking cares? There's the ooh face. It's hilarious.
Look at these.
I love the characterization.
I'm just pulling up DreamWorks movie posters now.
That's hilarious. But like, I love the characterization. I literally cannot believe that the person that wrote this actually hates those people because they know too much. You know what I mean? I don't get the poop sock thing at all. But was there a reference to a poop sock in the last time we recorded?
No, there was like the cheese. Something.
Yeah, the cheese thing.
Sock maybe.
Dropping the cheese.
I even though I was reading last fic, I wasn't even really paying attention.
Okay. So the poop sock thing is from the 2005. It's a copy pasta. I'm on Know Your Meme, of course. There's that definitely not hot Samsung girl. The animated one.
Oh yeah.
The slang term for a sock one uses to defecate in. Originally, it spread in MMORPG communities for games such as World of Warcraft, as players would reportedly not leave their computers to go to the bathroom, and instead defecate into a sock. Okay. I guess that's just the meme. It's a gamer meme. It's an epic gamer meme, and here we are.
Okay, that's epic.
Okay, that was
Man, I'm
epic.
looking at a Megamind poster right now.
Oh my god, yes.
Dude, Megamind is so smug.
Yeah, so okay, that was epic.
That was epic. That was great. I thoroughly enjoyed that one. Oh man, Mr. Peabody and Sherman. That's the smile. In case anyone's watching right now and they're like, what are they freaking talking about? Look at the poster from Mr. Peabody and Sherman. Look at the stream. That's exactly what they're talking about.
Absolutely. I saw over the hedge one. Absolutely. Yeah. So, I guess Ben Shapiro has a DreamWorks face, and we just didn't know it.
I didn't know DreamWorks face was a thing, but now
And it is.
I'm so glad to know that. So wow.
It's like I very disconnected from the original source, but there's that saying that's like a piece of information is so profound that when you hear it, it almost seems like it's not original because it's so apparent, but you just never thought of it before.
Yeah.
And that's this.
Yeah.
That's this.
Yeah, I think I've said it before on the podcast. It's like the idea of like Mozart was like discovering music as opposed to writing it. It was just like these universal like people were just like, oh yeah, I already know that, even though it's brand new. It's like such like a universal, deeply human thing. The DreamWorks space.
And
yeah,
that's the DreamWorks
just
space.
be so
Ben Shapiro.
funny, man. They're so funny out there. Yeah.
So I like the fanfic. I thought it was hilarious, and it's like these people, don't like these people. I thought it was funny. I think it not only that, like if you're on the internet and you're on the political side of the internet, these memes and these ideas have spread into the ether. So you should at least be able to laugh at, like I said, like these people don't like them. You should at least be able to laugh at the way this was crafted, I would say.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's it. I'm giving it a 10 out of 10. Smashing the like button. It was epic.
Yeah. Okay, that was pretty epic.
Okay, that was pretty epic. Ryan, what are you stoked on?
Oh boy. Besides Giant Connect 4, which just showed up, courtesy of my co-host, oh captain, my captain, oh host, my host. I'm pulling up to the screen. I got 3 new books in the mail today. Very nice covers.
Oh, you did get them.
I got them right here.
Okay.
Thank you very
That's
much,
awesome.
my friend. Picked it up at a used bookstore in Gainesville. The Lord of the Rings trilogy. So I'm really excited about these.
Those are Ballantine, right?
I don't know what that means.
The publisher?
Yes. BB. Something like that.
Okay. 1 second. Give me 1 second.
Were they 95 cents? Because it says it was 95 cents, and I'm very confident that you did not buy it for 95 cents. Anyway, I read these a very long time ago. I'm reading some books now, and I really much look forward to digging into them again with these pretty sweet old covers that we got.
So the only reason why I noticed them is because that's like those exact copies are known as like universally polarizing for covers. It's like some people love them and some people hate them. I'm on the side that I think they're fucking awesome. Like I understand that they're like very bold colors and like weird art, but like that draws my eyes. I think that's the S tier, quite frankly.
These are pretty good. Obviously, you did
if
buy
not
them.
SA. Yeah. And as soon as I saw him, I was like, oh, I know Ryan loves Lord of the Rings, so like I'm gonna ask if he wants them, and you did say pull the trigger, so I'm glad you got them. They got there
Very
quick.
quick.
I sent them on Friday, so I'm glad they got to you. That's awesome. I'm glad you're enjoying them, and I hope you enjoy the reread. What's funny is I was just reading A Case of Conscience, which is a Hugo Award winner. I'm trying to like make my way through the Hugos. This was like the Hugo Award winner for like 1959. Solid 3 out of 5. It had a lot of potential. Wasn't great. Doesn't matter. Anyways, it is also a Ballantine published book, and at the back of it, it actually says the only authorized editions are ours. So get the complete trilogy, and it's referring to the trilogy that you have.
That's awesome.
So
wow,
yeah,
that's
so
quite
I
a
was
find. That's quite a find. Yeah, they're great. They're awesome.
Yeah. I just thought it was funny that just so happened to be the copy of The Case of Conscience that I have is the exact same level as the ones that you have, like from the same year and everything. So, interesting stuff. Well, that's cool. So you're stoked on Lord of the Rings or the books or Connect 4?
The books. Glad that I got them. I'm looking forward to reading them again.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. That'd be a nice treat. Nice little
Good, yeah.
relaxing read.
I hope the condition was as I advertised. I hope I didn't oversell the condition.
I'm nervous now that I'm gonna tear them apart because like when I read, I'm like,
Yeah, dude.
I like open them nice and wide.
Yeah.
So
No, it was literally only because of the first Dune book when I was reading it. I was like, I don't want any creases in the spine, so I got like really weird about like holding it a certain way, and so now like I'm pretty good about not bending spine. So I think you'll be able to, to finesse it.
yeah, it's already got a little crease in it, which is what you want from a used book. These are not
Exactly.
collector's items.
Yeah.
These have been used. So yeah, I'm looking forward
No,
to
and
it. So thank you.
it gives you
for that.
Yeah,
and
you're
that's what
welcome.
I'm stoked on.
Yeah.
So, what about you? What are you stoked on this
Interestingly
week?
enough, I will definitely get that. I was gonna say, interestingly enough, I actually just started watching Lord of the Rings. I'm 2 movies deep. I started telling the stream while you were getting your package. But I just a couple days ago finished the Two Towers extended edition. So
Yeah, you didn't seem too keen on the first one.
I'm not gonna lie, I was not very keen on the first one. I liked the second one a lot more.
Yeah, I like the second one a lot.
So I feel like the thing that bothered me the most is they hyped up the Fellowship, and then by the end of the movie, like the Fellowship was over, and I was like, oh, we still have 2 more 4-hour movies. Okay, you know what I mean?
Right.
And I get where they're going now, but I was just at the end of the first one, I was just like, man, I sat through all the Hobbit stuff, I got to the Council of Elrond, and now they're not even a Fellowship anymore.
You're like their big battle is the Balrog, and then after that, they split up.
Yeah, and like apparently the climax of the movie is actually supposed to be Sean Bean trying to take the ring, and it's like, what? Like it wasn't much, you know what I mean? It was
that is a good point. I mean, as a book,
Yeah.
I'm sure you understand it's a lot easier, but as a movie,
Of
them
course.
trying to like
Yeah.
peak this massive battle,
Yeah.
and then also the splitting, and then also
Yeah.
this like betrayal and murder. Yeah, for sure.
Exactly. And like, you know how I am. I normally try to watch or read the book first before I watch
Yeah, you
anything,
can't
but
read,
like
it's too much.
no, and I was just taking like stock of like my reading list
Yeah.
of shit to read, and I was like, I'm not going to get to Lord of the Rings anytime soon unless I like make time for them, and I don't think I can. So I was like, whatever, fuck it, I'll just watch the movie. And I thought the second one, like I said, I thought the second one was a lot better. I really like Gollum. He likes it raw and wriggly, which I think makes him a freak. But that's one of the lines in the movie. He catches a fish and he's like, "Me likes it raw and wriggly."
Yeah.
And I was like, "You are a freak, Gollum."
Yeah, I mean, his movies are classics. Movies are classics, even if they're not good.
yeah,
They're
and-
classics. I remember I watched
No.
the first like hour of The Fellowship on HBO Max.
Yeah.
Plug HBO Max, and I was just like,
I
I,
love
was like, when like the title pulls up and it's just like white font over this, I'm like, that is classic. Like, there's no movie that
Yeah.
like that anymore. Like, that was like the last of these classics.
I totally agree, and I don't even want to say classic. I want to say epic.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, okay, people would turn to Infinity War and Endgame to call like an epic movie. Put those aside. Maybe the Pirates of the Caribbean third movie was like quote unquote epic, but like we don't get like big movies like this anymore. And I guess like people are gonna try to make Avatar 2 and 3 that way, but whatever. And no, I didn't think the first one was bad. It was having not watched it since it came out, obviously, and watching it now. I think I'm a prisoner of my moment right now, where I was just like, man, for the love all the people have for these movies, I was expecting more.
Sure.
And that's unfair, obviously, on my part. But also, a movie, I guess, should be judged too on its staying power. Not that it didn't hold up. I think the practical and the computer generated effects still look really good. Gollum looks amazing. From what was it 2005? He looks great. So, like I said, I would say confidently I was fickle on how I felt about the first one, and then I legitimately like the second one. So I've been told the third one's the best. I'm excited to watch the.
Yeah, I'd be interested because the third, you talk about having like the kind of unclear multiple climaxes in the first one. There's like 900 climaxes and endings to the third one. So that was big, great. But it won Best Picture. Like, it literally won Best Picture. So
yeah, it won a lot. It won a ton. And,
you like Vigo?
I
you gotta understand the love for Vigo now after watching those movies.
Yeah, for sure. I think he's great. I mean, I've always liked Elijah Wood just from the other stuff I've seen him in, so I think he's good. I will actually tell you, I think my least favorite casted person or just character is what's his name in real life? Sean Astin for Sam.
Yeah.
I don't know. It seems like all of his lines he's just like reading to read. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know the character of Samwise, right? Isn't that his
Yeah, yeah.
name?
I always
I keep
loved
wanting to say Samwell from
I
Game
always
of
loved
Thrones,
him as
but
that, and I didn't know him at all as like Rudy
Yeah.
or like the guy from Stranger Things, and he's in like a
Yeah.
bunch of other stuff. Every time I see him, I'm like, oh, that's Sam. Like I only associate him with that, so I have like kind of an opposite effect.
Okay, that makes sense. So like I think the first thing I saw him in was 51st Dates.
Yeah, if I saw that like today, I'd be, my mind would be blown. I've like purposely not watched that movie. Because
I really like that movie.
Adam Sandler. Second, because yeah, I've heard he's in it, and it's weird.
It is, yeah. He plays like a meathead brother to Drew Barrymore, and it's just weird.
Yeah, I couldn't handle that.
So I don't, and it's not that he's doing a bad job. It's just like if I had to pick one of the Fellowship, he'd probably be it. It was actually really funny because when the shit, I'm watching the extended edition, and out of nowhere, they just like walk over to Viggo in the second one, and they're like, "I heard that you fought with my grandfather," and he's like, "I did," and she's like, "But that would mean that you're 87 years old." Yeah, I'm a Dunedain of Numenor, and you're just like, all right. It's just like, okay,
yeah.
Fuck,
He lives to be
dude.
like 400. Yeah, that's like, I can understand why they cut that out. They're like, oh, this cool action hero, he's like almost 100.
It's not only that. It was just like, it's like, what the fuck is a Dunedain? Where is Numenor? And like, what? Okay, you're 87.
Dude,
okay.
that's what it was like to read the book before like the Silmarillion came out and everything. It was just wait, what?
Yeah, and like, it's so funny too because they just like, I guess they really don't hold your hand. But I will say one thing that like weirdly takes me out of it is there's fireworks, and I'm like, okay, there's fireworks, but then they use this same month structure as just regular life. So it's like, yeah, it's October, and there's a Hobbit, and fuck you. And I was like, okay, it's October 12th, got it, all right, you know what I mean?
It is almost my birthday, dudes.
Yeah, I was like, oh, sick, my birthday's gonna be seen lit, like, you know what I mean? It's just like, oh, okay.
All right, we should.
I'd expect them to be like it's winter's month, or I don't
Yeah,
know.
no, it's high fantasy, but also like it's Columbus Day. All right, all right, let's go. You got what do you?
Does anyone want to celebrate this national banking holiday? And I was like, what?
All right.
And none of what I'm saying is coming out of like hate for them. I like it's just coming out of like just enjoyment and entertainment.
Sure. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm starting Lord of the Rings, the movie, or I'm almost done with the movies. What am I stoked on? Oh, okay. So, I've long, I guess I would say, I don't want to say like personal journey, but just long like self journey of I think everyone in their entire lives, if they're conscious and care, are always trying to do their best to better themselves mentally, like physically and emotionally and all that stuff. And I'm not big into like self help books. But I have come to the point where I'm like, man, if I can like find pieces of a philosophy or religion that seem to make sense and are natural feeling and can help me, I'll start using them. And so I've like kind of been dipping my toe into Stoicism. And there's actually a podcast on Spotify that I found. It just randomly popped up for me called The Stoic Coffee Break. And it is I think it's like weekly. He kind of puts them out whenever he feels like it. But I came in like at episode like 180 something. So what do I know? And it is a little like bit of Stoicism and Stoic philosophy in the time it would take you to get a cup of coffee. So it's normally like 8 to 15 minutes. And I just been listening to it when I've been like working around the house or like walking the dog and just, hearing like, I don't want to say self-help, but like ways to like get my mentality changed in a more healthy way and to respond to things. And so I'm stoked on the Stoic Coffee Break. If Stoicism is something that you've been interested in, or if you're just looking for a way to think about things differently or in a new perspective, I think it's an interesting thing to listen to. And I think might help you. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm stoked
That's
on.
interesting to hear you say. I feel like I used to watch like a YouTube guy who was like into Stoicism, or he would like explain it.
Yeah.
Isn't that like a philosopher? It was like Marcus Aurelius. There's some philosopher he used to quote all the time.
Are you joking or are you being serious?
No, I can't remember.
I feel like you're still joking.
No. I honestly used to watch these YouTube videos about it.
It's Marcus Aurelius.
Marcus Aurelius.
Yeah.
Who's that?
He was one of 5 like good emperors for Rome. Like they literally had like 5 like good emperors they used to consider, and he was one of them.
Does it have anything to do with Stoicism, or am I totally misguided?
Yes, yeah. No. Okay, I thought you were just being difficult.
No. I'm honestly trying to make a connection here.
Yeah. So Marcus Aurelius was an emperor of Rome. He was one of, or a leader. I don't know if he was an emperor, but he was one of the best leaders that Rome had. And in his lifetime, he wrote down his thoughts, and they were obviously like collected and then put into a book. And it's called Meditations. So it's Marcus Aurelius's Meditations, and it's basically like the groundwork for Stoicism. And it's under response to stimuli and response to anxiety, and that's sort of a lot of the stuff that he goes through. So I literally, because of Stoic Coffee Break, I like got a copy of Meditations, and I've been like trying to just read through it every now and then. And obviously, like, Stoicism isn't like a religion or anything, but it's sort of like a philosophy, or I think the best way to describe it would be like a different way to respond to external stimuli. And I think the biggest piece, because I was telling my friend about it, one of my friends, and he's like, yeah, isn't that just like not responding to things? I'm like, no, like that's like, I'm like, it's not being emotional.
It's like not being stoic in the way that we would describe, like, use that word typically.
Yeah, like we would use it as like, oh, that person's stoic, like they don't show emotion. And like, I mean, I guess you could consider that like the Marcus Aurelius version of Stoicism, but I would say the biggest like lesson to be learned from the philosophy is if you take stock of all of the things in your life that cause you anxiety or bother you, and you classify them in one of two categories, which is, do I have control over this or do I not have control over this? It's basically saying, worry about and put energy into the stuff that you have control over, and try your best not to worry about the stuff that you don't have control over. And the sooner that you do that, the sooner you'll find that you can change things positively. And if you're in like a bad like mental headspace, or you have anxiety or something, you realize that just by the virtue of identifying those things and trying to address those things, you actually start to feel better. So like, for example, one of the things I've been like trying to get better on is obviously because of COVID, I became a fat lard. When we went surfing, I got the Gordo board, which means fat in Spanish. So if it doesn't help that I'm already like very tall. But like, so I'm like, oh, I want to like lose weight. Like I want to work on that. So it's like, I'm caused anxiety by my weight gain. Well, I can fix that. I can't change COVID. Like I can't change the fact that I was forced to be sedentary. But now that that's, seemingly on its way out.
Yeah, I live in New York
freedom.
City. Like every gym is open. I go to the gym.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. So it's like, okay, well, if I really care about my weight and I really care about, whatever, well, I need to address that. And it's like, well, what are, if there are issues in your family that are bothering you, like, you couldn't really change the fact, like, for example, that your parents are getting a divorce. But if they're both speaking to you about it in a certain way and it bothers you, you can address that. You know what I mean? Like you can say to them like, hey, don't talk to me about it. Or you can say, if you're going to talk to me about it, I don't want you to say bad things about the other one, something like that. So it's like, it's like an interest. I don't mean to cut you off, but like that seems like a really healthy way to contextualize what, like literally it's like, take stock of what things bother you, their stimuli affect you, and then understand like, is this something I control? Is this something I can't? And then the things you can control, make actions, go after them, and then don't worry about it. And the things you can't. So no, this sounds cool. This sounds like cool. I remember like looking into it and like watching YouTube videos. Obviously not getting too deep into it, but that sounds really cool. I'm happy to hear that, and it seems like you're having a good go of it so far. No, yeah, and I can definitely tell you, mentally I feel like in a better headspace than I was like a year ago. I think that's really safe to say. And obviously there's like a bunch of other things that have gone into me feeling in a better headspace than I was a year ago. Obviously with like that whole pandemic thing not being as big as it was. But yeah, so it's one of those things where I have a little bit of extra time to like put into like, I guess I don't want to say self-care because that makes me sound like a Instagram influencer who's going to sell you like supplements. But just taking time for myself, and it like part of Stoicism too is like realizing that if you can do good for other people, you can do it. But also, if doing good for other people is going to hurt you, don't. Like it's not being selfish; it's being considerate of the fact that you are an autonomous body and you do have ultimate responsibility over yourself at the end of the day. So you know what I mean? It's like like especially in like family situations, I'm very, very like giving, and I'm very like I'll do whatever you ask without hesitation, without thinking about how it's going to affect me. So like sitting there and you know, just listening to an 8-minute bit about like, yeah, this is the reason why that might not be good. Listening to that is just like, oh yeah. And so I guess it's like a process of like retraining my brain or giving me new perspectives. And like I was listening to one today, and it was called 10,000 Kicks, and it was based off of the quote by Bruce Lee, which is like, I'm not afraid of the guy who's practiced 10,000 kicks one time. I'm afraid of the guy that's practiced. Yeah. And so it's like, if you want to make a change, it has to be habitual. Like, it's not like, oh, I went to the gym once. Like, you have to turn it into a habit.
Yeah.
And it's not just physical things. Like, it's even like mental things. It's like, if you start to feel yourself like spiraling mentally, acknowledging that and making a habit of finding things that make you get out of that headspace, and realizing that when you start to acknowledge that you're not feeling well, okay, well, now I have to put myself in this better, you know what I mean? So it's just, So
yeah, that reminds me of this book I read called Atomic Habits. I'm kind of stoked on that now that you're talking about it, but yeah,
nice.
Like little tiny things building up to a lot. That's cool. That's awesome. That is awesome thing to be stoked on. That is awesome thing to be stoic on.
Yeah.
And
I'm stoked on it.
Yeah. Great.
If I can pick one that's not serious, I'm trying to read all the Hugos, and Ryan, we should start a Hugo podcast where we just talk about the Hugo Award winners.
That sounds awesome to me.
Yeah, we could at least get 69 episodes, because that's how many they've awarded for novels. It's so sick. It's so fucking sick.
Okay. I'm hyped on that. That's coming to your feed soon. Get ready for that.
Jesus, I hope so.
Good Lord, and it's more money going to Fireside. That's what that sounds like to me.
Exactly.
Alex, where can people find us on the internet if they want to follow us?
Find us on Twitter and YouTube. That's like our best place to find us. So Suck My Fanfic on both. One of them is at Suck My Fanfic, and the other one I think is, what the fuck is our YouTube? Suck My Fanfic Podcast.